Hello everyone, my name is Yasmin Kelly and I'm going to be doing a speech on being overworked and also overtime in the workplace. The reason why I picked this topic is because I know a lot of people who do have full-time jobs have at least experienced one encounter with working overtime or even experience it all of the time. I am currently in a position where I have to work a lot of overtime, and it's not the fact that I want to, it's actually mandatory. I do go to school full time and I also have a son, so it does affect me a lot. So I figured if I do a speech on everything of being overworked and also overtime, that you, the company, can see where we're coming from and how we can make this all better for everybody. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is what overtime is. Overtime means that you work typically over the normal amount of hours in a week. So in the United States, that would be 40 hours. Anything after 40 hours will be paid at a different rate. Usually it is time and a half. So it does mean that the problem is, according to James Clear in a recent New York Times article, that your overall health can actually be affected because of working overtime hours. Now, what I mean by that and what he means is that you may need to exercise every day. You might have diabetes or something where you need to exercise, or you're not getting enough sleep at night. So you come into work and you cannot focus because you're losing productivity, which a Harvard Medical School study did do the study on that 23% of Americans, they do actually experience insomnia. So that is actually, it seems like a low percentage, but really that is a big amount of percentage that we need to actually work on, because everybody needs to be healthy, and going to work should not affect that. Going to work should just be a way to go do something that you love and go from 8 to 5. Or, you know, maybe you do have a demanding job like that. Maybe you are a model. Then we can actually understand, but in a business setting, it is hard to do the overtime hours, especially when you do have a family and everything like that. I thought a fun fact would be in Japan, actually, that the word karoshi actually translates to death by overwork. So this means this is something serious. I know people may not take this seriously because of the fact that it's a job and everybody has to work to make ends meet. But this is very, this is really something that we really need to really look into to fix this problem for everybody. The causes of overtime and also being overworked is a lot of factors. The major one, and this is what I'm dealing with right now, is actually not having enough staff. So what I mean by that is we could have a staff member and the next day they get fired, or they quit because it's too overwhelming for them. So once that person leaves, whatever it was, if it was voluntarily or involuntarily, that it now puts more work onto the person that's still there or the team that's still there. I work in a department, so my team is affected. Even if it's 9 of us and we lose a person, we now have to pick up the pieces so that way everything can run smoothly. The way to pick up the pieces is for us to stay late, to miss out times with our kids or our family, our friends, and also we might have to come in on the weekend. So it really does affect us in every way possible. So like I said, putting the work on another major thing that I have experience with in my position now is that there is a lot of overlapping deadlines. And so that can really affect somebody because that overwhelms them. If you have something that is due tomorrow at 3 and then you have another report due at 4:30 and then you have something to do the next day, when are you going to find the time to do all those things unless you do overtime? So it's more the fact that you have to get it done, and you need to, and you want to get it done for the company's sake, and that way that you don't have to get in trouble. But it's also that you need to do it for the company. So either way, you have to work that overtime so that way these deadlines are met. Another major thing that I do think is a big problem on why people are overworked is because of not being properly trained. If you come into a position and you're not properly trained, that is losing productivity once you're on your own, because you're going to come across scenarios where you do not know what you are doing, and it causes you to lose time. So it causes you to stay late. It causes you to stress out that you might lose your job because you're not doing something right. So I do think that is a very big factor. I think that training our employees correctly will save a lot of the mishap of being overworked. According to wisegeek.com, the other reasons that can be that there's overtime in the workplace is you or another employee could be out sick. So that's one person down, and that's work that needs to also be done. Also, it could be childbirth, it could be vacation. Each of these things meaning that a person could be out. So now you have to pick up the pieces, or your team does. Either way, you are being overworked. And if you're not working overtime, it is because you're working yourself so hard so that way that you can fix that issue and that doesn't get out of hand. At least I know in our department, that's what we try to do. There are so many ways, though, to overcome the stress and the overtime and being overworked. The first thing that I do think that you should do is never play the role of the victim. If you are feeling overwhelmed or overworked, the first person that you need to talk to is your manager. If you feel you cannot talk to your manager, there's always somebody, your human resources department. You can talk to them and let them know that, hey, this is my issue. I do have a family at home. I have to do this. I have to do that. Let them know. That way, when it hits the fan that you might possibly get fired, you can avoid that because you have talked to your boss. You've talked to your manager, so they know what's going on. They know that I'm in school full time, so they work with me. And I feel like everybody should have that opportunity. Also, always take breaks. Most jobs, they do offer breaks. If you do have a break or you get a chance, please take them because it helps you refresh and then start over once you come back to your desk or wherever you may be at. Also, on those breaks, if you need to, take a walk, exercise. That it helps you so much when you just release and then you come back and you just feel refreshed and that you can resume working. Also, breathe. That's very important. And also, if you take a lunch, please take it and do not stay at your desk. Even if you have to go sit in your car or even outside, as long as you're not sitting at your desk, that's what can help you. And also get plenty of rest. That is what helps everybody, getting plenty of rest, because the next day that you are refreshed and ready to go. According to sheknows.com, a successful CEO found it that it works greatly that if you're working smarter, not harder, that you will not overwork yourself. And what I mean by that is, one example that she used is having the distractions away, so she doesn't have her phone on her desk, so she's not easily getting on Facebook or getting on the internet for random browsing. So she found that to be one of the most helpful things for her to not feel stressed, having to work herself, and also to work the overtime. So I really do hope that you guys can take this into consideration and think about everything that we have to go through and what we're dealing with, and maybe that we can help this issue of the overtime. Thank you so much. Have a great day.